It's getting hotter. Hotter, 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 hotter. Hey, 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 hey. What do we want? Justice. Hey, 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 hey. What do we want? Justice. Hey, 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 hey. What do we want? Credit. Hey, 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 hey. Action now.
You know, before I get started, I want to make sure I pay my respect to the Mississauga Port Credit First Nations brothers and sisters on whose land we are on. As an African Canadian Caribbean, I see how our shared path of 500 years of colonialism has left our children inheriting Mother Earth at what might be her weakest point since creation. I am a school teacher, a proud school teacher in Rexdale, a community with a large immigrant population of families struggling to make ends meet. Hazardous Line 9 pipeline runs through the parks behind the community housing in Rexdale. This is a community where negative impacts of rising wealth and income inequality are obvious. Climate change, increasingly extreme weather leading to power outages for low-income Torontonians, especially, as in the recent ice storm, the disproportionate cancers of First Nation on the Athabasca River are reflected socially in the disproportionate criminalization of Black youth and poor educational outcomes from youth of color across the province. There is one main link I would like to make between climate justice struggle represented in today's march and the community struggles of which I am involved. This issue is the issue of racial profiling, carding, and police brutality. Dr. Akua Benjamin of Ryerson University calls carding a sophisticated apartheid system that targets Blacks and other racialized citizens in this province. Carding shows us how systemic racism works in this globalized technological world to marginalize and criminalize people of color. The recording of this information by police has implications for future employment. A young man who's stopped and carded has his record go on file somewhere. This shows up when he tries to get a job. This practice we must stop. Carding reflects the disproportionate resources our society invests in policing and the military. These resources could be used for good transit to our communities so that youth who are carded are able to access better jobs, attend rallies like the one we are in the center of the city today, or organize these rallies in the lower income communities themselves. We need to understand how poor transit and poor public services makes purchasing a car, for instance, a priority for someone who's already living in a low-income situation. So our government has made employment insurance less accessible to people in the community where I work who are already working in lower wage, precarious jobs, and at the same time, it has extended huge subsidies to fossil fuel and other polluting corporations and industries. Lack of benefits and poor jobs means they have less time to attend community meetings, to work to ensure that schools in their neighborhoods aren't closed in the latest round of government cutbacks to public education, or that the expansion of casinos isn't prioritized over good public transit. The struggle here in Canada for good public services is mirrored in the struggle of the Greek people for a more just economic system, one where people would take priority over corporate profits. It's time for an economy that works for us all, that's built on something sustainable, not just policing, militarization, and fossil fuels. Thank you.
With the green